Today I'll be discussing about 8051 timers. I should hope that you have watched the previous video on the introduction of the 8051 microcontroller, related schematic, board design and connection to USB SP and using the AVR Dude to upload code. I think you should have watched the video. If you haven't, then please do watch the video given in the I button as shown above. Also you can find the video link down in the description. After you have watched that, we'll be directly jumping on to programming the 8051 timers. So I'll be using this PDF here. I'll be posting this PDF down in the description below so that you can download from below. Now coming on to here, you can see the basic registers of the timers. Both timer 0 and 1 are 16 bits wide, and 89S52 actually has a timer 2, but we'll be not using that. We'll be using timer 0 and timer 1 today. Timer 0 is a 16-bit register and is accessed as low byte and high byte. The low byte is the TL0, timer low 0, and the high byte is the TH0. Both are 8 bits, so total 16 bits. These registers can be accessed like any other registers like AB, R0 or NAT2 example. The example in the assembly language, you can write move MOV TL0, 4F hex. 4F hex means moves the value of 4FH into TLO, the low byte of timer 0. But we will be using C code, so we will be not using any assembly like MOV here. Timer 1 is also similarly can be accessed like TL1 and TL0. Now comes the timer mode T-mode register. The T-mode or the timer mode register. Both timers, timer 0 and timer 1, use the same register called the T-mode to set up the various timer operation modes. T-mode is an 8-bit register in which the lower 4 bits are set for timer 0 and the upper 4 bits for timer 1. So you can see this single T-mode register is used both by timer 1 and timer 0. Both these are identical. These 4 bits and these 4 bits are identical. One for timer 1, another for timer 0. So also I will like to show here the TH0 and the TL0, and also the TH1 and the TL1. This is the timer 0 and this is the timer 1 register. And now in the T mode, see here the mode 0, which can be set by M1 and M0. The mode 0 is the 13-bit timer mode. Mode 1 is the 16-bit timer mode. Mode 2 is the 8-bit auto reload, and mode 3 is the split timer mode. In mode 1 programming, this is a 16-bit timer, so it allows value from 000 to FFFF hex into the timers TL and TH. TH and TL should be loaded with the initial value, and the timer, and then the timer should be started by setting TR1 for timer 1 or TR0 for timer 0. And after setting this bit, the timer should start, and as the timer will start, it will count up until the limit of FFFF is reached. When it reaches the value, it rolls over from FFFF to 0 hex, and then it sets a flag bit called TF, the timer flag, to high. The timer flag can be monitored. When this flag is raised, one option would be to stop the timer with the instructions clear TR0 or clear TR1 for timer 0 and timer 1 respectively. After the timer reaches the limit and rolls over, in order to repeat the process, the registers TH and TL must be reloaded with the original value, and the TF must be reset to 0. I think this is a very clear-cut English, and there is not any hard thing to so that you cannot understand. You just need to read them and remember these facts. There's nothing much complicated here. Now the main block diagram here is that the crystal oscillator is of value 11.0592 MHz. It is divided by 12. 11.0592 by 12 is approximately 0.98 megahertz or something, and the time it comes around 1.085 microseconds, the inverse of the frequency. Anyway, this is then fed into this AND gate like, and here you have the TR. So setting the TR1 starts the timer, as you can very clearly see due to this AND gate. And after that, the timer has reached the value of FFFF by counting up, it then goes back to 0, and then the overflow flag is turned on high. The TF flag is turned on high. Now the steps to program in mode 1: load the TMOD register value indicating which timer should be used. Since you saw the TMOD has both timer 0 and timer 1, so we should be selecting which timer is to be used. Load the register TL and TH. You should be, if timer 0, then you should write as TL0 equal to something and TH0 equal to something. Then start a timer by TR0 or TR1 equal to 1. Now keep monitoring the timer flag, TF flag, like you can write as while TF0 equal to 1 semicolon, means you are waiting in that loop until the timer is running. You are waiting there, and then with the JNB for assembly, in C we can use the while loop in place of this JNB for assembly. To see if it is waste, get out of the loop when TF turns high, then stop the timer. Then clear the TF flag for the next round and go back to step 2 and then load TH and TL again. I think this is very much clear. So now the timer flag is actually present inside the TCON register, the timer counter control register. I have discussed about the TH, TL and the TMOD. Now inside the TCON you can have this timer flag. You can have this timer flag and the timer start. The bits which I have discussed just above, the timer start by setting TR and the timer flag TF, they are present inside the TCON. TR1, TF1 for timer 1, TF0, TR0 for timer 0. And these are the coming to later. These are for the external interrupts. Now in this code we will be having the void delay function, the timer delay. So here you have the int I and the int number. Now we will be seeing that number is actually I'll be using whether I'll be using timer 0 or timer 1. So if 1, then we should be using the timer 1 in 16-bit mode, and thus TL1, TH1, TR1, TF1. And if the number is 0, means if we use timer 0, then case 0, then we are using timer 0 in 16-bit, TL0, TH0, TR0 and TF0. See the difference in this two cases. Here is for the timer 1 and here is for the timer 0. So what this loop does is that, firstly, TMOD, I am taking the timer 1 here and timer 1 code here. So TMOD is 0x10, means in 16-bit mode for timer 1, TL1 is loaded with FE and TH1 is loaded with A5. So the word A5 FE is the total word. Turn on T1 means TR1 equal to 1. So on TR1 equal to 1, the timer starts. Now we are waiting while TF1 equal to 0. We are waiting, and after it rolls over, then turn off timer 1 by setting TR1 equal to 0 and then clear the timer flag. So here we are continuously monitoring the timer flag, and at the last, after stopping the timer, we are clearing the timer flag. Again when we will be calling this loop, this will be loaded here again and it will run again. And now the for loop, and now the external for loop, inside all these are enclosed inside the for loop, means that this same thing will be running again and again as per the value of I is given. Now the explanation here is A5FE is the word, means in decimal it is 42494, and the for 16-bit the 65536 is the upper byte, means so this minus this value is equal to 23042. Now you should have seen that the timer for the timer frequency divide by 12 is used, so it comes around as 0.9216 megahertz. So time pulse equal to 1.085 microseconds. Therefore 23042 into this time is equal to 25 milliseconds. So this whole thing will generate just a 25 milliseconds time delay. So into, so if you multiply this 25 into 20, so if this I is 20, so this loop will run on 20 times, and therefore 25 into 20 milliseconds equal to 500 milliseconds, means 0.5 seconds. So if here, so if this I value is 20 and this number is 0, so timer 0 will generate a 500 milliseconds delay by using this code and with this for loop. I think you can understood the explanation here. Now I should be modifying this previous code with this function we have just discussed here, and we will be using this function now, and you should be modifying it as timer delay and int x int number is the declaration. Now this will generate the timer delay. So suppose this time, so suppose I'm using timer 0 and comma, and here I will run this loop for suppose 20, so 20 to 25 milliseconds equal to 500 milliseconds, and here suppose 5 times, so 25 into 5 equal to 125 milliseconds, and again timer 0. You can use timer 1 as well, the effect will be the same, nothing different. The effect will be the same, nothing different. So I'll be now compiling this code, again the same code from the previous. I'll be now compiling this code, so no errors, no warnings, again building up the hex file. So now again as per the previously we have discussed, to copy the hex file from here, copy the hex file, copy it, and now opening the EVR-Dude. I have discussed all these things in the previous video, so if you haven't watched these things, so please watch the previous video so that you can understand. So I'm writing, so after writing, so now let's see the code in action. Let's see. So the LED is on for 500 milliseconds and this off for 125 milliseconds. So our program is correct. I hope you have found this video useful. I was thinking of including the interrupt section here, but I am seeing the video is getting too much longer, so I'll be discussing the interrupts in the next video. This code will be uploaded in the GitHub, so that you can download the code from there and you can tweak the code as far as your requirement. And till then, read the PDF which I have included in the description file. Read from there. And in the next video we will be discussing about interrupts, and we will be using this function too inside the interrupt example. So till then, learn this function well, and we will be seeing back in the next video. Thank you.